All right, so today we're going to go talk to my fitness coach. His name is Michael Bann. I worked with him many years ago, about 10 years ago. Awesome coach, just sort of changed the way I was thinking about fitness, the way I was sort of treating the way I was keeping myself healthy and nutrition and all of these things. So I'm super excited to talk to him. Very smart guy, jiu-jitsu, tactical athlete, former Marine, and just a super bright person and a really good coach. So I'm super excited to share this conversation with you. There's a fountain. Is that building A? That's building A. All right, am I good on your side?
I can out grapple him and I can out fight him.
He does.
Oh yeah, he actually. I can sit at the head of the table.
Yes.
Boss man. I am the boss man. Look at me. I am
You
the captain
are
now.
I will tell you, but I won't tell you. I won't sing it for you. My whole family, we had a whole song about it.
Like a song?
A song.
About the tube?
About
What?
about nervous system is
king.
the king, your gut is the queen. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Well, gosh, yes, you have gut issues and you have nervous system issues. For someone, I would say sports created so much anxiety for me. I'm not naturally an athlete. I'm naturally a person who wants to read books in my room. So that pushing that striving, that performance button creates so much anxiety in me, or doesn't anymore. And so that's huge. So I guess talk a little bit about that because, and again, it might be old hat for you, but like that's huge for so many people to understand all that.
You could have, your gut health and my gut health, and they will never be the same no matter what we do. It's like a fingerprint. We'll just never have the same. So I used to get into the trap of like, well, this is going to help with this. But as I've really studied and learned and practiced, not just studied, I've kind of come to the realization that yes, it matters, but there's way more things that are far more important than that. And honestly, the things that are more important than that are probably what drive your gut health in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I see gut health as kind of like, it's kind of like the response to the story that's being told. Mm-hmm. I don't really see gut health as like, here's your probiotic, we're going to fix this. Don't get me wrong, I work with people that go overseas in the military, in the special operations world, and they end up eating something or drinking something that they really shouldn't have. I have a client recently that just got back from overseas, and he's in the military, and he was like, yeah, dude, so one of my guys on my team, we decided to go out to get some Chinese food because it's supposedly the best Chinese food outside of China. And my guy on my team, he's from China, so he understood this. And we went out and had it, and it was delicious. And then I got super sick the next day. And I was like, all right, dude, we're probably gonna have to do a stool test. We're gonna have to figure out what did you put into your gut?
Yeah.
Because we're probably gonna have to go in there and actually try to do some things to manipulate that. But that's not very common.
Yeah.
I think most people are struggling. If you struggle with gut health, you probably struggle with behavioral problems that you're not even conscious of.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all just how you're coping with your external environment. And so I've kind of gotten away from thinking let's do tons of stool tests. Obviously, I still do them. I'll look at them. I'll tell people, hey, this probiotic, this Saccharomyces boulardii, this protocol, blah, blah, blah. But I try to look at people a little bit more holistically these days than just the gut. But it is true, you are just one giant tube from your mouth to your anus. Your body has a selection process. It pulls in what it wants. It's technically not inside your body, even though it's in your colon.
Yeah. Well, so that's a really good example. And we haven't even gone over your bio or anything, but that is such a great example for, so college athletics in the 90s, tons of shoulder pain from hitting tons of volleyballs. So just part of the gig is you hit balls and you train. We trained with the same coach who trained the offensive linemen, if that gives you any indication.
Yeah, I remember you telling me
of
that.
Our training. So
yeah.
Not super, I mean, he's awesome and I think he's still training people, but in order to counteract the amount of inflammation in my shoulder, which was probably due to my poor diet, which was composed mostly of Taco Bell.
I have a client that loves Taco Bell.
The Taco Bell parasite before it was even popular. Like I had that all the time. So anyway, yeah. So to counteract the bad diet, poor sleep, poor habits, anxiety, all of that. Guess what I got for my shoulder was Naprosyn. Twice a day, like 800 milligrams. So I think about my gut lining today, probably obliterated. I did travel overseas, and I did get a parasite in a country that isn't America, and I came back, had no idea. And so there's all these things that you just you don't even think about.
Yeah.
They do now. I think a lot of people think about it now. But these are just, like you're saying, there's compounding things that are going into this bucket. And you fix one part of it, but the other parts of the bucket are still unaddressed.
That's the problem. I don't even want to say problem, because it's not a problem. It's something we have to have, but it is an issue with science. Mm-hmm. Like I can't study 27 variables at once. I have to manipulate one thing, see what happens, track that data, and then it's got to be repeatable. Can other people do the exact same thing I just did and get the same result? So science is just, it's a process. And I think that's where people don't fully grasp that, mainly because how many people actually went to school for a hard science? Like I have a graduate degree in a hard physical science. Yeah. So I've done, so I have an understanding of how slow this process goes, but people in general don't. And it's so easy to fall victim to hype of marketing. But it takes well over a decade for something that becomes like pretty well accepted in the scientific community to all of a sudden become like, the medical community now accepts this.
Yeah.
Like gut health. The earliest paper I read, I want to say it was published in 1986. They were looking at things in the 80s, but it wasn't until the Human Genome Project and the Human Microbiome Project and all like the technology advancements to really study this even more. And even then, it still took a long time for, the medical community to be like, actually, this is a thing.
Yeah.
I remember I was working with a client who was kind of like, nah, about like when I would say those things. And then they were, they got into med school. And in their med school, in their second year, I think it was either their second year or the end of their first year, there was a lecture on the microbiome and how it actually impacts like the gut muscle axis and like how it impacts the nervous system and blah, blah, blah. And they sent me a photo on Snapchat of the lecture. They're like, oh my gosh, you were right. And I was like, I told you that 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that it just takes time for things to kind of be like accepted. And I think the problem with that now is social media. It, like we were saying earlier, it just becomes this echo chamber where now like we think something is real or true, but it's like, no, there was like one study that hinted at this possibility and it needs to be researched way further, but social media just blows up on it. And then companies, Thorne Designs for Health, Zymogen, all these different supplement companies start producing products because one study said it could, and then marketing comes in and then now people are like, oh my God, this is the gospel truth.
Oh yeah.
And so I think social media has...
There's someone in that corner sitting over there that everything that pops up, I should take this, I should take that. I'm like...
Oh, it's so bad. People are getting their news from social media.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not... I get it, it's such an integral part of our lives, but it takes a long time for things to be done to be understood.
And I just, unless you are in a research study, I just kind of am like, the body is not meant to just, like, you get one. And so you can be a human experiment with yourself, or you can seek really wise people and people who know more and people who study this stuff, and you can actually get answers.
Or just ChatGPT, which is sadly what people are doing now.
Or the 100 other ones that are out there.
Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok. Yeah.
So the other part that I like, and it's interesting, our friend Will was starting to get to this place toward the end of his time out here in Arizona, but he kind of started building and like, wait, like outside factors affect your fitness. If you're tired, that affects your fitness. If you're I know when I first started, because I was going to it wasn't a big box. I was going to the group classes. I won't talk about the brand, but whatever, the group classes. And I remember if you were a minute late, you had to do burpees. And I was like, bruh. Like,
that's ridiculous.
I mean.
People have lives.
I have to drop kids off before here. And whatever. And it's like, I had enough punishment as a collegiate athlete. Like, I feel like we're all we're all grown-ups. We
Yeah.
can, so anyway. But one of the things I loved once I moved from that group format to individualized coaching with you was I still had the same mentality though. The hard part is really breaking down, which I think you helped me with. This is kind of the thing I was going to tell you earlier, but the breaking down of what you know to like actually executing what's the best thing for you. And I just didn't have it. And I was in my 40s when I started working with you. I was 42. And I'm like, I still was carrying all this baggage from college coaching and what I thought it meant to be and what I thought fitness was and what I thought all of this stuff was. I've said it, and I know it probably shoots me in the foot, but I've said it a million times, even though I still coach high-level athletes. Sports aren't good for us. They're really not that great. Fitness is good for us. Training something is good for us, but the concept and the idea of this constant pushing through, I feel like can be harmful long term. So one of the things that the gift that you gave me, and that's part of why you're part of this project, is there was a day, it was a 1 rep max front squat, I think. And I was just gonna make it happen, but I couldn't get what I had previously done. So there was going to be no max. It was under. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get to that number. And I was so frustrated because I'm like, I've failed. We're supposed to keep going. We're supposed to keep improving. And I texted you and you're like, oh, it sounds like your nervous system is sleepy. Try again tomorrow. I was like, we can do that? It changed everything. That was probably, I think, within the first probably 4 months of working with you. And I was like, what do you mean try again tomorrow? It was so foreign to everything I ever thought.
Yeah.
Never. And it did become a really big piece of how I coach people. I don't just try to give them, quote, an excuse, but what's happening in your world? And this is just for skills and volleyball. One day, coach, why can't I pass today? I don't know. Why can't you pass today? Could you pass yesterday? What's going on?
Yeah.
So that was huge. That's one of my favorite Michael Bann stories.
Just try again.
So what? You're a human. Try again tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I'm reminded of a guy I used to work with. He was a medic for a tier 1 military unit.
Okay.
And I worked with him for a number of years. And if you've ever been around the special operations world, they have a very unique way of looking at the world, right? There's a reason why they're selected. It's not just because they're fitness beasts. Arguably, they're actually not fitness beasts. They're just psychologically just able to be really stubborn.
Yeah.
And he would say that. He was like, we're not really the most fit. We're just really good at not quitting. We're actually just too stupid to quit. And he would also say that sometimes it is better to be a Viking than a racehorse. Sometimes you have to be more Viking than less racehorse, was his direct quote. And what he meant by that was there are times where you just have to power through.
Yeah.
And that's part of the sport of whatever sport you're playing with. It's like when I talk to women in the military and they're discussing hormone health and menstrual cycles, and we want to optimize hormone health. It's shut up, you're on a deployment. You're in a combat zone.
Yeah.
You're a combat MOS. Your job is to do something combat related. The enemy, the adversary, is not going to care about your cycle. Guess what? You're getting shelled right now. You're getting mortared. You need to do the job. So that's being more Viking. It's who cares? Just figure it out and get the job done. But then there's also a time where you got to be like a racehorse, and racehorses are pampered. They have the nicest food, blah, blah, blah. So there's a time for both.
Yep.
And I think too many athletes only want to Viking through stuff.
Ugh.
Viking through stuff.
Yep.
And they don't know how to become that racehorse where they take care of themselves. But I dig deeper into that, and I look at that as a self-worth issue. And we start talking about attachment theory. Are you secure? Are you disorganized? Are you
Attachment theory.
anxious? Are you
Yes.
avoidant? Your attachment style isn't just with love relationships. It's how are you treated by your caretakers? And then that translates into how do you have a relationship with yourself, which translates into your self-worth. Do you have the self-worth to actually give yourself a chance to rest? Do you even believe you're worthy of success? Most people I have found tend to walk around afraid of success, not afraid of failure.
Yeah.
And they're subconsciously continually sabotaging themselves.
Yeah.
And that's really common because those who don't act like that tend to not reach out for a coach because they already have stuff dialed in. It's like if you're in a really loving, like my mom and dad, super healthy marriage. They were married 54 years until my dad died. My dad proposed on the second date. They got married 6 weeks later. They had a phenomenal marriage. They had great conflict resolution strategies. They would fight, argue, and they would make up. They never went to couples therapy because they didn't need it. They already had those things. So people that don't have those self-worth issues, it's a kind of like a selection bias. Like they're not typically going to go seek out help for something they just don't need help with.
Yeah.
So there's a selection bias with the people that I work with, but they do tend to have massive self-worth issues. And so rest to them is lazy. And I call it productive laziness, which two words should not go together, but they do because it's actually productive to be planned lazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that goes.
I plan my laziness at like 1 o'clock every day. I take a nap.
I like that.
Literally
That's
nap
awesome.
every day.
Hell yeah. Sleep as often as you can without getting fired or divorced.
Yeah.
I said that when I was 29, something like that.
Little did you know.
I say it to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Say it again.
Sleep as often as you can without getting fired or divorced.
Yes.
I'm actually going to post that today because I've said it multiple times. And I'm going to repost it today because I feel like people just don't understand. And we've made this weird like industry of like sleep. It's like we have Whoop, Aura, Garmin, Apple, all of these products. We got chilling mattresses and blackout curtains and all these different things to improve sleep. And I really think you just need to have blackout curtains and a cold room. Who cares about your wearable technology? Like you don't need to be told by a ring that you're tired.
Yeah. Amen.
Like everybody knows, oh man, I only slept 6 hours, I'm tired.
If I'm crabby, I'm tired.
Right?
Or I haven't eaten. Yeah.
Eat a Snickers.
I'm telling you, my kids, when we kind of went to started switching to homeschool, maybe even before, I have not used an alarm since I stopped coaching. I only used an alarm to get myself up because I had to be up at like 4:15.
Ugh.
It's so horrible. Whoa. It's so horrible.
Yeah.
And then now everything's closed. We have shutters, and I keep one thing open. So it's the second that sun pops up, then I'm up.
Yeah.
So I literally wake up based on this position of the sun.
That's what I do.
It's amazing. Yeah. I don't need the Hatch little machine. Though there's a little sunlight machine you put in your room that simulates.
Yep.
Open your blind, man. Like it'll tell you.
Yeah.
Like it'll let you know.
I think but going deeper into that, people really struggle with revenge bedtime procrastination because they either have a lifestyle that is really hard, like they're overwhelmed, they're stressed. I mean, life is hard. Like,
it is.
People are
especially
struggling
now.
with their bills.
Yes.
They're struggling with cost of living. So I get it. Like people are working 2-3 jobs. They have their regular job, but then they also have like their Uber and they Uber. Like I got Ubered to a ball game on Saturday, and the guy has a master's degree in psychology. He worked with PTSD in the military, and now he's a construction manager full time. But he does Uber, even though he's making a 6-figure salary. He still has to Uber to like help pay for bills. And his girlfriend is a travel nurse who's making 6 figures, and they combine incomes and they live together. But he's still working a side gig. So I get it. Like people have revenge bedtime procrastination for a plethora of reasons. But sometimes people also have it just because they don't understand how to set boundaries. They don't even understand their own needs, so they can't communicate their needs, which leads to them having their time hijacked all day. So the only time they get to have to themselves is their bedtime. So instead of going to bed at 9:30 or 10, they stay up until 11 or 12, but they still wake up at sunrise or whatever.
That's the revenge.
Yeah, so they're basically they're hijacking their time back.
Okay.
They're basically saying, I did not have enough discretionary time today, so my discretionary time is going to be at 10 p.m. till 11. Yeah. And so it's called revenge bedtime procrastination.
I'll show you hard day.
Kind
Watch
of.
Watch this.
Kind of, yeah. And it's how they steal some time back so they can get some time to themselves. Because the optimal sweet spot, based on the literature I've read, is somewhere between 2 to 5 hours of discretionary time. And so when we talk about like fitness, athletic performance, just general well-being, we need to have 4 different things. We need relaxation time. We need autonomy over our time in general. We need to have something that calls something of ourselves. So a hobby. We need, like I said this the other day, oh man, this is so funny. I was telling people like brunch is not a hobby. No. Like don't get me wrong, networking, social time, community, tribe, it's important, But brunch doesn't call anything out of you. It doesn't demand something of you. So
Yeah.
a hobby, you need to have a meaningful challenge that forces you into a phase of frustration and patience, but then you persevere through it and grow. So for me, that hobby would be, martial arts.
Yep.
I love to grapple. I've done striking. I'm a jiu-jitsu purple belt, and I love to shoot. I'm a 2-division masterclass shooter in USPSA, and I love to shoot. I shoot 6-7 days a week. Those things demand something of me, and they're very frustrating. For others, it's golf. I mean, you talk to anyone that golfs, even the best of the best are like, oh, this is such a terribly frustrating sport. So you need to have periods of relaxation. You need to have meaningful challenges. You need to have, autonomy over your time. These are things that you need to have to recover. And athletes, in general, people that are hyper obsessed with fitness, they tend to forget that. And so when they don't have that, they burn out. Then they stay up late or whatever. So you can, like the whole sleep thing, like a lot of people aren't getting enough sleep because they're just unaware of their own needs. They don't understand how to set boundaries. Like they should go look up the Gottmans and read all of the Gottmans research on this stuff for like boundaries versus ultimatums and and I think that's the missing link in the fitness coaching world is everybody talks about the hard metrics, sleep, zone 2, whatever, Norwegian 4x4 method, tempo training, macros, gut health, but no one's really talking about like, hey, like what's that person's relationship with themselves? Like what is their subconscious driving? And how do we as coaches like show them that? Because we have to be a mirror.
It's tough because, and I fully agree with you. You mentioned attachment, you mentioned Gottman's, like all those things are like right up my alley. I actually just spoke with 2 attachment therapists. One of them, oh my gosh, she's wonderful, has been around for a while. There's Neufeld, which is like child development and attachment. It's Deborah McNamara. She wrote a book called Nourished, which I love because talking about nourishment kind of from the angle, like you're saying, like brunch is not a hobby. However, it does solve that connection piece of food plus connecting. So I feel like food-wise, we sort of ripped the enjoyment out of it for athletes. It's fueling, it's nutrition, it's whatever, macros. And there's no, and I know you're big on this because I've seen you post about it, but like, yeah, have a burger or like have this, but it's not your default mode, but like meals should also be enjoyed. They aren't just to be, metriced and like, logged to death. And I think that's part of sort of the attachment thing. What attachment do I have to fitness that's going to bleed into how I eat, how I prepare? Yeah. I know I was very stubborn with you on my eating. I could barely get 2,000 calories. And I hate protein and I just wouldn't do it. I think I fought you on meal planning and prepping everything. You're like, well, if you don't want to get better, then don't eat. And I was like, fine, I don't want to get better. Because it's hard. The attachment to that is difficult for me because I have a daughter who has food allergies. Yeah. So meals are very, not anymore, but at the time were very complicated. But people don't know that they have this attachment to food or this attachment to a mealtime. Sitting around a table can be incredibly nourishing, but also it can be very good for your nutrition and for what is happening in your body. You told me to chew one time.
Yeah, I've told a lot of people to chew.
I was like, what am I? What kind of animal am I? And I sat and noticed, I'm like, I don't chew. What the heck?
I sat in a room full of military operators a number of years ago as I was like lecturing and talking and teaching, and I just brought up the idea of chewing. Yeah. And I was like, all right, guys, I need you guys to chew your food, and I want you to put your fork down every bite and just like take 20 chews per bite. The next day, when they came back, because I only got them for like half a day and then I got the other team for the other half. And so they came back and they're like, dude, do you know what happened yesterday at lunch when we decided to chew our food? And I was like, what? And they were like, 4 groups of people came and went by the time we finished our lunch. Yeah. And I was like, how long did it take you? And they're like, 30 minutes to eat. And I was like, think about that. 4 groups, 4 different like groups, squadrons, teams came and went. While you were eating in 30 minutes, like your military motto, eat now, taste later.
Yeah. Yes.
But
I feel like I saw that somewhere.
I probably posted that somewhere because
I
my
don't know.
brother told me that when
Okay.
I was like 9. My brother was in the Army.
I was gonna say it is an Army thing because
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
think
it's a military thing.
It's all military.
Even in the
Okay.
Marine Corps.
'Cause I think we
yeah.
saw something on specifically in the Army, and they were showing them how much time they had to eat. Like you have to.
It's just like a thing that's like food is fuel,
Yep.
right? Like get
Yep.
it in your system. And I agree to
And
an
I
extent,
get it,
but
yeah.
like I look at fuel as in like going on a road trip. You know,
Yes.
if all we ever do is go the scenic route, we never get to where we want to go. So sometimes we just have to go A to B, and you
Yep.
get to put gas in the car and get there for sure. But then sometimes, don't you just want to put some gas in the car and go for a drive? Like I have 2 motorcycles
you end up.
and I have a Jeep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to go for a cruise.
Yeah.
I'll go ride a motorcycle for 4 hours. I'll go take my Jeep, a 4-wheeling or rock crawling. There's no real destination. It's just like the drive is the destination. The journey is the destination.
Yep.
And so I look at fuel as the same. Your food sometimes is just a road trip. Like go have a burger,
Yeah.
drink a beer, let
Yeah.
loose, like enjoy your life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if all you do is eat burgers and drink beer,
Right.
then you're probably not gonna have a good life,
Yes.
or at least a long life.
Or you probably won't play very well
Exactly.
over time.
Yeah. So you have to have both. And
Hence
I think
my
that's
Taco Bell issue.
I have a client. So one of my guys I'm prepping for selection, and
Okay.
he leaves in like 2 weeks for selection.
Oh, wow.
And his really good friend is also a client of mine, and his really good friend ratted him out. I was like, hey, he's not telling you, but he's having Taco Bell on the regular. And I was like, oh, I gotta call him out. So I called him out, and he was like, who did he tell you? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, that mother effer. And I was like, bro, you can't be doing Taco Bell 3 times a week just to like get your macros in. Like you can't do
Yeah.
that. And so he's cleaned it up quite a bit, and he's like ready to rock. He's gonna kill it. But yeah, the Taco Bell thing, you'd be amazed at how many people lean on that. I had a dude.
We know all about Taco Bell.
I had a guy. Oh man, I'm 40 and I was 25 when I was coaching him. 24, 25. It was like 15 years ago. I was looking at his food log, and I was like, dude, why are you eating Wendy's twice a day? And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I'm literally, what I mean is, why are you eating Wendy's twice a day? Like, tell me about this. And he was like, well, it's healthy. And I was like, help me understand why you think that's healthy. Like, I don't fully grasp where you're coming from. Talk to me about this. And he just goes, I don't know if you remember the advertisements back then, but it was always fresh, never frozen.
Okay.
So he thought fresh meant healthy.
No.
And so his like brain, like he didn't understand. And that's the average American.
Yes.
Like people don't understand that.
Yes.
And so like it's easy to like judge people, and like going back to your case, it was really easy for me to project myself. And if I would have you as a client now and you were to struggle with that same struggle now, I wouldn't even say anything along the lines of like, well, you don't want to get better. I would simply want to unpack that more.
Yeah.
Like, well, let's talk about the friction. Like, where's your head go? Like, what do you feel? What do you experience internally? What is the experience you have when you're trying to eat more protein? Like, what are you emotionally experiencing? And then I'd want to unpack that even deeper, because that's more of like a relationship issue with food versus, well, you don't want to get better. Because like consciously people want to get better, but it's a subconscious thing. So like Bruce Lipton's biology
and I actually
of belief.
did get a lot better.
You did. Yeah.
I got very strong.
But I would have handled, like, knowing what I know now
Yeah.
and the wisdom, quote unquote, that I have now compared to 10 years ago, I would have completely addressed it in a different way. But that's the nature of life, right? Like, we look back and we're like, I should have done that better.
Yeah.
So it's the self-reflection part.
Well,
but-
you said something too. I think when I was just starting out, and you said something like, you know, I tell people all the time, like, you don't have to go cold turkey on something. Like, let's just say you're busy and you always stop somewhere on the way home to eat, and you were like, you don't have to stop cold turkey. Like, sometimes it's just a matter of like keeping like fresh veggies in your, you know, fridge at work, and then you eat 3 pieces of broccoli or 4 carrots before you hit the drive-through, and then you're just probably not going to eat as much. Like, it's just tiny little behavior change that can lead to a bigger change. And then if you think about how long it takes to chew broccoli, like, think about that. Like, raw broccoli, that's going to take you 25 minutes. By the time you're done chewing your broccoli, you're home. You don't need that. You don't need fast food.
Raw broccoli. I just made some in a crock pot the other day, and I'm like avoiding the broccoli within the crock pot meal. And I'm like, I don't, why did I put that in there?
No, the broccoli's the worst. I can only eat it roasted, actually, ever now. We have a lot more, we're a lot more like sophisticated now with our veggies, thankfully.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, but I think, you know, I think when you say those things like how you would coach now, it's really difficult, I think, for people Maybe fitness is a slightly bit easier because you guys are very cerebral. I think in general as a whole.
No.
I mean, in most of the ones I know, and you look at sports coaches who are, but it's a little bit different. You're looking more at strategy of games. You're looking at like tactical things. You're looking at like skill development. And I really do think that's the biggest piece that gets missed in coaching a sport, like an actual sport. It's really tricky for most of them to do it. And don't get me started on power dynamics, because it's typically young girls and like a male, and the dynamic is just already from the start, do this, which you posted today and I reposted something about most coaching is compliance. And what did you say? Maybe not today.
Yeah.
That
so
is so true.
yeah, it was this. I'm gonna look because
Yeah, I shared
posted
it today.
a couple things.
You've done it. There was 2 of them in there, but
Yeah. You're talking about.
it's the one, slide 7, slide over, slide 7. Well, this is not the compliance part, but you said you're coaching somebody, it should make them harder to coach, which I love because I'm a very difficult
Yes,
person to coach.
you're talking about this one.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah,
That's me,
good
to a
coaching
T.
should make you harder to coach.
You have ruined me for every other coach in the world because I am very difficult to coach.
So,
Which I think is great, but
yeah, like I like to think that masterful coaching creates agency.
absolutely.
And so I want, like,
And that's attachment.
Yeah, when I work with my people, I want to teach them to think like a coach, not just an athlete. Now, there's a difference when we're talking about team sports. Coaching a team sport, that's like running a business. It's
Yes.
a massive personality management thing,
Yep.
and you have to like individually work with like the players, but it's more personality management. Whereas like coaching an individual sport, like if you are a golf swing coach, I don't care about their swing, I care about your swing. We're going to work on you. That's very different. So like fitness is one-on-one. And arguably it's a lot of personality management because there's a ton that goes into like the real one-to-one relationship. But I think sport coaches, volleyball, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever it is, like team sport style things, it's a lot of personality management.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit harder because like you can't like make them think like a coach, because then it's just like, all right, all of you need to read my mind, and it doesn't work that way. So when it comes to like what I do, I want to work with my clients to where they start to think like me. They can troubleshoot things, they can analyze things. That doesn't mean that they just like in 6 months they fire me. I have some clients I've worked with for 15 years nonstop.
Yeah.
And I've helped them through multiple pregnancies and whatnot. And I've worked with people for, I can think of one guy right now, I've worked with him to a triple bodyweight deadlift, double bodyweight back squat, sub 3 hour marathon in Boston. Like, he's a stud. And I've worked with him for years. But like, he doesn't need me to teach him like, what is 85% of my 1RM? Like, I don't need to teach him those things. Like, he can read the program and understand that. Coaching goes beyond just that. But I think the thing with like strength coaches in the sport world, you get them for an off season. So it's like, I'm going to get you for 6 weeks, and you got to go back to practice.
Yep.
Or it's this power dynamic between like, well, I have this whole periodized concept out for you, and now the head coach is making you do suicides, which is going to blow you up.
Yep.
And it's going to make you get hurt because now you added that to my program. And so I think sport world is different. Like, I'm very blessed to work in the individual world. Like, I get to work with people one-on-one for a long period of time. But yeah, coaching should create autonomy. It should create like the thought process of a coach, not just, you know, I've heard a lot of coaches say like, honor the coach. And I think that's bullcrap, because that's an ego-driven coach.
Yes.
It's very much like, I'm the coach. I say jump, you ask how high.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of coaches out there that make that claim, and they hide behind that ego by saying, well, we want to honor the coach. The coach is the expert. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
Your ego is killing, the industry.
Yeah.
I think I would rather ask my clients, well, what do you want to do? Not because I'm trying to be indecisive, but because I'm trying to understand.
But people don't, and I have to look at the time, so we probably got to land the plane a little bit, but people don't understand, in general, agency in sport. They don't, it's one of the things I really kind of like, I have to tiptoe around. I want, especially young girls who are being coached, I want them to have agency, ask questions. I actually have been really lucky to work with a handful of kids with like neurodivergent, like Asperger's, autism, ADHD, and there's a type of athlete. That type of athlete really cannot take a fire hose of feedback. It's like, if you want someone to work on, like, I don't know, this is for volleyball, but like hand positioning, and then the next rep you're working on hips, and the next rep you're working on feet.
Yeah.
I mean, those girls are going to never get better. And so now it becomes, I'm not good at this skill.
Yeah.
Instead of a coach who cannot let them have agency and say, hey coach, can you slow down? Give me like one cue. Give me 5 minutes with this one piece.
So Victor Hall, he is I don't know if he's still with Exos or not.
Okay.
But it was like 10, 11 years ago. He said something that has stuck with me ever since. So he was one of the instructors for the Exos mentorship program.
Okay.
So I went through all of their phases of their curriculum, and it's fantastic. Victor Hall was talking about, and I believe at the time, I want to say it was his son, may have been a daughter, but they were 2 years old. And he was giving an example of like, when you're whistling a tune, like if I whistle Jingle Bells and I just whistle it, you may not know what I'm whistling. I know what I'm whistling, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Or like if I tap like,
Yeah.
you now know I'm doing Jingle Bells
Yes.
because I told you.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't telling you that, you may not pick up on that. And so he was also giving an example of his 2-year-old. The 2-year-old takes their little sippy cup, slams it on the table. So he says like, well, you can tell them, hey, stop slamming it on the table. And so then what do? They take it, they throw it across the room. And you're like, ugh, stop throwing it across the room. So what do? They pour it out. And you're like, ugh. And so he flipped it. And he said, instead of telling people what not to do as a coach, just tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And so instead of saying, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, just say, hey, put the cup down and leave it alone.
Yeah.
There's no other option. You take that away. And I think we get really caught up. And that made my brain think a lot. And so I went down like this rabbit hole of like the subconscious and how to rewire it. But your subconscious doesn't understand language. It knows repetition and imagery, or imagery and it changes through repetition. So if I tell you, don't think about my Ridge wallet, you're going to think about it. So what do I need to do? Instead of telling you, stop thinking about this, don't do that, blah, 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 I might say, look at my Leatherman. Now pay attention to this. And I'll describe my Leatherman in great detail. And after 5 minutes, you'll forget about the wallet.
Yeah.
And so instead, we got to tell people what to think about. Don't think about the pink elephant. Instead of saying that, let's talk about the blue unicorn.
Yeah.
And describe it in full detail and get your brain to shift.
Yep.
And so I use that for sports performance. It can be something as simple as like, hey, I want you to feel this when you're doing this. Running is a good example. Like, I'm going to tell you, what the experience is that I want you to have while you're doing this 4x4 Norwegian method or whatever.
Yep.
But Victor Hall, he completely changed my perspective on how to coach even field sport athletes and not over cue them, because that is a very common thing. We over cue people.
Or in just take it out of like the thing. If we're working, there's a type of coaching in it's volleyball, but I'm sure it's everywhere. But like, they call them tutors. So it's like a tutor where you don't cue them at all. Where I know in a back squat you're gonna have to cue somebody that could get hurt, but like in a volleyball skill, you don't cue them. You set the drill up. You give them a handful of instructions or whatever, and they literally their body has to feel their way through the whatever skill they're trying to do. So sometimes it connects, and by the end of it, like they've actually kind of self-solved what they're trying to get better at, versus like, yeah, that looks good one here, good that, oh, move your this, like they've sort of connected the way their body moves for themselves, which I love tutors, because it just gives those people a chance to get out of their head. And like, because as soon as you hear a cue, you're going to try to do it. Athletes we're just trained to like, you hear something and then you go do it. And so I love that, because it's a really simple way to give them their agency back. Like, I'm not going to be on the field with you. Let's see what happens and how you figure those things out, or the court, whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's language from child development that is, I use it with my own kids, that helps build agency. So instead of saying, oh, I like that picture, that's such a pretty picture, oh, wow, like, instead of saying good job or I like that, you say something like, wow, I see how you used purple right here. Tell me a little bit more about why you chose purple right here. Or, oh, the mountain's purple? Why is the mountain purple? More like, oh wow, you chose purple for that, right? And then you help them. They're creating agency because they're telling you why they chose that instead of having to now be defensive about, oh no, my mountain was supposed to be purple. What happened?
Yeah.
So again, I think there's so much language in psychology and like attachment, all the things you're talking about that help athletes move forward and take ownership of that. Like that's kind of what we need them to do anyway.
I want to create a space where you feel safe enough to fail.
Yes.
And then learn from it, because it's better that you make the mistake in training than you do on the field or in court.
Yeah.
But instead of just like the old school way was like, don't do that again, you effed up.
Yeah.
Now, when it's time to play, there's that momentary hesitation.
Yeah.
And so you want to do the opposite. It's like, hey, so we definitely didn't work out with that one in this drill. Help me understand why you went this way. Help me understand what made you feel like this or whatever. And that gets them to get internal, critically think. But that actually changes how they perform.
Yeah, for sure.
And when the pressure's on. And so, yeah, that's a phenomenal way to coach people.
Yeah, I've loved, I mean, like I didn't go and get licensed as a therapist because I was like, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it through coaching because this is way more fun, way more dynamic. But I want to, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think there's overlap, right? Like therapy is more like, hey, let's unravel your past and let's work through that trauma, whatever it might be. Coaching is more forward thinking. It's like, hey, this is here and this is the now. How are we going to get to the future? So I'm forward thinking.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we don't understand as coaches how the past impacts the present and the future. It just means that we have our part to play in it. Like the strength coach is not going to be the one that perfects the golf swing, but I'm sure as heck going to make you fit enough for the golf swing coach to perfect that. The golf swing coach is not going to tell me how to program back squats.
Yep.
They're going to trust in my area. But then like the therapist, like their job is to work on the past. It's to unravel what's been causing the now. And so I think there's overlap. Like you have to understand as a coach, I don't want to use the word trauma informed, but it kind of is the best way to describe that. Like you have to be a trauma informed coach to truly understand why people do what they do so you can connect with them and empathize with them and stop projecting judgment onto them.
Which requires the coach to do a deep dive on their own time, which they typically do not.
I go to therapy every week. Every week I have a therapy appointment at 3 p.m. on Mondays.
But you're not the 20-something-year-old coaching the 12U indoor volleyball girls. That's where the biggest disconnect is that it's am I willing to go and figure out all of my own things so that I can make these people better? Because this is not about me.
Yeah.
This is literally about like how can I help these 12-year-olds
you have to
amazing
find
things.
a way to remove yourself from the equation.
Absolutely.
Like very zen, like like Jeff Bridges in Tron, he says in the second Tron, he says he finally figured out how to remove himself from the equation.
Oh yeah.
It's a very zen like thing, but that's tough because coaching generally is an ego driven.
Absolutely.
It's kind of paradoxical.
Yes.
It's like Tyson Deschambault, he said it really well. Tyson Deschambault was a Zen Buddhist. I think he's dead now, but I read one of his books a long time ago, and one of his quotes was, if you hold your hands open, you can feel all the sands of the desert pass through. But if you close your hands, all you can feel is a little bit of grit. It's like, if you want to drink water from a river, you can't grab it. You do have to gently cup it.
Right.
There has to be some structure. You can't just do this and drink. So there has to be some, but it can't be too much.
Yep.
And so learning how to do that as a coach, that's the craft. That's the art of it. All the science is great, but you have to know how to apply the science, and you have to understand that where your ego is in that equation and learn how to remove that.
Yes.
That requires someone else to be a mirror for you to be like, hey, you got some stuff going on, coach. Bam. And then I, as the coach, can go, oh man, oh yeah, it's right here. Because if I ever point to it, you're going to be like, I don't see it. Where is it?
Yeah.
I have to be the mirror where you're like, oh, it's right here. Oh, I don't want to work on that. Oh crap, I got to work on that.
Yeah.
And that's the whole continuum of competency. Subconscious incompetency, conscious incompetency, conscious competency, subconscious competency.
Yeah.
And then it moves to the next level of like, oh crap, I suck at that now. And
and that's why I think it's so valuable. And I love being coached. I mean, trust me, I love it. I love all of it. I hate it, and I throw tantrums and I resist and I push back, but I really love it. But that was one of the things that helped me really see some of the things. I kind of was already forming a concept of how I wanted to be a coach. And I hadn't coached a sport since my 20s. And I was like 41 when I went back into coaching high school or club or something. And it just feeling that friction, feeling the fact that I didn't want to do what you wanted to tell me. Like I didn't want to do what you said. I didn't want to hear it from you. And I think that was such good information for me. Like none of the girls I'm coaching want to hear it from me. And that was so good because it helps you figure out that ego. It's like kind of smooths it out so that I can be more effective. But if I'm not in it and feeling the resistance to my coach, then I won't know what they feel towards me. And it's not about like, oh, look, I can do pistols at 42, which I could, thank you very much. And a muscle up at 43, thank you very much. And jump served at my alumni game at 44, thank you very much. It's not about like, look at me do these things so you can do these things. It's like, look at how I got out of my own way to see you better. Mm-hmm. That's really, for me, what coaching is. Just getting out of the way of myself, getting out of the way of my past, everything that I've constructed, to see you and like, let's go.
I think that digs more into Carl Jung's work with shadow work.
For sure.
Right? It's very Jungian, and I'm a big fan of that.
I have a friend. I don't know. We probably have the same friend, but we'll talk about after this.
I have like 3 friends.
This might be 4th. This might be your 4th because I think you guys would hit it off. But yeah.
Well, I'm a big believer in you have to try to see yourself in others. Mm-hmm. You know, so like you're driving down the road, somebody cuts you off, and you're like, "Oh, that mother effer," and you get all angry. But it's like, well, have I ever cut someone off? Was I a mother effer when I did that? No. And then this person's not a mother effer. Maybe that person just made a mistake because they're human. And that kind of falls into like the philosophical razors, like Hanlon's razor. Yeah. Never attribute malice to that which can be adequately explained through ignorance. It's like maybe they didn't see you. Maybe they have diarrhea and they're trying to pull over real quick.
They had Taco Bell.
Maybe they had Taco Bell and they got to pull over. Or maybe they saw the Taco Bell.
That's the recurring theme of this conversation.
Yes, Taco Bell.
The parasite.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think you have to look to see yourself in others and see like, well, you know, when I was a 17-year-old volleyball player, I probably would have thought similarly and had the same insecurities. And what would I have wanted, you know, my coach to say back then? Like, how would I have wanted to be coached? Yeah. And try to like change that. And then, you know, down the road in 30 years, that 17-year-old is now 47 or 57 or whatever. Yeah. And, you know, they're coaching and they're going to be like, well, what would I have rather have heard? And it just feeds forward.
Yeah.
But I think like that's the hard thing is try to see yourself in others. Like we project onto others what we are not okay with ourselves. So the more shadow work you can do on yourself, the more you can dig into that and look into the abyss, the easier it is for you to like let go and see that in others and be like, yeah, you know what? I can understand why they act like this, say this, do this, blah, blah, blah. And that lets you connect with them because that keeps them safe. And that's a very Brene Brown thing. Like empathy, meeting vulnerability is how we create that connection. Yeah. Like that's the cure for, you know, shame. It's like when you have shame, you empathize, you're vulnerable and somebody empathizes with you, that begins to rectify that. But you first have to do the work in yourself as the coach to be that person for another.
Yeah. And I think that was really what this project was about for me, was really just like, I've had so many great coaches. I had some really bad ones too, but the really great coaches are the ones who got out of their own way to help me do something. And I have always been hard to coach. And the people who took the time to take a second and go, wait, there's something in there. Like that is a very common theme for me. It might not be the theme for everybody going through this, but for me, it was like, who were the people who said, I'm cool with how big it is in there for you, and let's figure this out, versus the ones who were like, that's too big. Oh my gosh, get this out of my face. There's too many questions. What's happening? The ones who just had the patience and the awareness to look at a bigger thing than like just the behavior or just the questions or just the confusion. Like, hey, I don't understand something, but I couldn't ask questions. I was like 10 or 11. I didn't know how to ask a question in a sophisticated way. It came across as like, huh? Or like not doing the drill right, or just looking off into space. I remember my son used to get in trouble for looking off into space. I'm like, I promise you he's listening. But the coaches would make the whole team run because one kid wasn't listening, I'm like, oh,
Punish
that's
all
low
for the
hanging fruit. Come
Yeah.
on, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
they're 12. There's no way they're gonna like lock in on you. Like, they don't care.
But see, that's the coach not seeing themselves
Correct.
in the client or the
Correct.
athlete. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask one last question.
Yeah.
So I primarily coach currently. I do have other people that do other sports like mountain biking and some soccer and things like that, but primarily it's indoor and beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you know anything about that, but what would be something for most, let's say they're professional and they're traveling overseas quite a bit. Nutrition is not always, like, they don't always like the food that's there. They can't always get as much as they want. Sleep is way off. So kind of similar to maybe a military athlete or a person who's kind of constantly in motion. Their season, they're never like, they're at home for like a snap kind of thing. What is something that you can say, or two things or whatever you think that would benefit them fitness-wise, nutrition-wise, sleep, all the things that could help them get through that really crunchy stretch of season?
Recognize that perfect is the enemy of good enough.
Okay.
And then supplements. You know,
Okay.
Take a protein supplement with you. I'm a big fan of whey, but not everybody can tolerate it, and I get it. But if you can tolerate whey, whey is great. Beef, hit or miss. Anything but pea protein, like really, like let's like take an animal-based protein. A good multivitamin for sure. Vitamin D, gotta have vitamin D.
Okay. Even if they're playing beach, still a supplement.
Oh gosh,
D.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes they think like, well, I'm in the sun all the time, I'm fine.
Are they wearing sunblock?
It depends. I don't know. If it's a really long day, probably. Yeah.
Then they're not getting sun exposure. They're
Okay.
blocking it.
Cool. I love that.
Also, you have to understand that the sun has to be at a certain angle for the UVB radiation to get through the atmosphere.
Okay.
So on a cloudy day, even if you're not wearing sunblock, you're less likely to get vitamin D out of that because the UVB radiation wavelength is shorter.
Does D have to be combined with anything to be more effective, or can you just do?
I always like to recommend vitamin D with food because it
Okay.
is a fat soluble
Okay.
vitamin. So vitamin D. And again, that's going to be very individualized towards like your blood levels, like your
Yep.
dosage that you need. But
Do they need to do blood work?
oh gosh, yeah,
Okay.
before and after every trip.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to see where you're at. Like I have a
Okay.
dude, he just got back from being overseas for like, I want to say about
love
18
this.
months.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, man, like we're going to do blood work. Last time I looked at your labs was May 2025. Now we're going to do it again and we're going to dig in. And then, you know, the shorter the trip, the less intense you have to necessarily get with it.
Yep.
But, you know, the basics, like a CBC with differential, a CMP, lipid panel, vitamin D. I like to look at red blood cell magnesium, and I like to look at high sensitive CRP. And then TSH, and if there's anything deeper you can dig in. Yeah, right? Well, this is being recorded, luckily. But
Yeah.
those are some basic things that I can think of for athletes. I don't typically dig into hormones unless there's like a serious problem with that. But for the most part, athletes just need to understand where their basic physiology is at.
Okay.
I gotta sneeze. Oh gosh.
Do it.
I don't, but I do. Every time you mention it, you have to stop immediately,
Yeah.
right? But I would say, good whey protein, vitamin D.
Okay.
I always recommend magnesium, depending on what you need. There's magnesium glycinate, really good for your nervous system to calm down at night before bed. You have magnesium threonate, which is really good for your brain. It gets past the blood-brain barrier. Magnesium malate is really good for energy production. It more or less helps with like ATP production and like the mitochondria Krebs cycle stuff. So those are the three that I typically go with. If you find yourself really struggling, like you're overseas, 17-hour time difference, all of circadian biology is thrown off. So your bowel movements can be thrown off, and so magnesium citrate can help with that. It's kind of like a laxative. Just don't take magnesium oxide. Like that's the big one, like to avoid. It's just kind of not that great.
Yeah.
A green supplement is really important, like a good greens and like a multivitamin. Those things are great. You can get deeper, like if you have more luggage space, maybe take some creatine or some glutamine or whatever. If you're going to end up in a third world country, which I've been to many third world countries,
Yeah.
and I always take a spore-based probiotic, and I usually take Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a yeast that kind of acts like a probiotic. I take those as well, just because I know I might end up, getting, Like one time I accidentally got tap water and it was like the death of me. It was terrible. We thought it was bottled and it wasn't. Yeah, basically I thought they took bottled water and poured it into a glass for me. Turned out they just got it from the faucet.
No.
And as soon as it did, I was like, oh no. And they're like, what? And I was like, you just killed me, bro. Like I'm gonna be dead tomorrow. And I lost a lot of weight right away.
I did that.
It was not fun.
Watermelon. That was.
Don't do that.
Why did I not? I didn't connect. I was like 17.
Yeah.
Just.
But I think like those are some real basic supplements to take. The big thing too is like recognize that you can't be perfect if you're in some not so fun places of the world. But if you're, in a, I don't know, you go to Australia, it's like.
But if you're not perfect and they still want to like do really well, you're saying take these supplements to at least.
And then sometimes you just got to be more Viking and less racehorse.
Yeah, I was going to say we go back to the very first thing you said.
Yeah, prioritize sleep. Like honestly, like think about your survival needs, right? So I can go and eat Taco Bell 3 times a day for 2 months straight, and I probably won't die. I'll probably be alive. Will I thrive? No, but I won't die. But if I go 3 months without water, I won't even make it a week. I'll die.
Yeah.
I can't go a week without sleep. So sleep and water. If you prioritize your sleep, do everything you can to get perfect sleep, like perfect your sleep, like get as much as you can, and then stay optimally hydrated.
Yeah.
Which means rehydrate, like weigh yourself, like find a scale, weigh yourself before and after every game or practice or whatever. Whatever you lose, like I think the ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine, they typically say around like 150% of your loss. Because if I drink this 50-ounce bottle, I don't absorb all 50. So I need to drink, if I went for like a 90-minute run or whatever, and it's Arizona, it's hot.
Yeah.
I lost 5 pounds. That's 80 ounces. I need to drink 150% of that to replenish. So I drank 120 ounces to replenish what I lost on top of my baseline. So that day, because it was 115 out and I ran that long outside, I drank 250 ounces that day with plenty of electrolytes.
Yeah.
And I didn't chug it all at once. I interspersed it. So I made sure my water was good and I prioritized my sleep. When you do those things, most oftentimes cravings get better. Like you won't even crave the junk food. You'll naturally have better metabolic function. So even if your diet's not perfect, the supplements you take will be good enough. If you're getting good sleep and you stay hydrated and you have some protein, I'd rather you prioritize that. Prioritize your protein. If you're not perfect on the other macros, it's okay. We're preserving lean mass. And protein, it can be burned as a fuel source. It's not the best, but it can be. And so it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And then just try to hit your micros. A good green supplement and a multivitamin, vitamin D, and then take your magnesium, you'll be okay.
That's
Especially
awesome.
if you're young. If you're 65, well, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
But most of these pro athletes, they're youthful, they're fit, they've built up some mental resiliency, prioritize sleep and water, you'll be good. Perfect is the enemy of good enough. You don't have to become a racehorse. Some days you just have to run harder, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. I love it. Well, crazy. It's been 8 years since I talked to you in person, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, or longer. I don't remember. I think I stopped. I think I would have been 44 because that's when I started going to ASU, I think. But yeah, I think the big thing is just it's amazing the collection of people that make a life, and it's amazing that it doesn't have to be someone that's in your life forever. Like some of my coaches, I haven't talked to them in 100 years, and I still called them up, and it's like they don't have to be in your life forever. The impact is in there. It's already been banked. It's part of who you are. It changed you somewhere. And I think that to me is the biggest lesson. And we in our house we talk about Michael Bann and the tube.
Your tube from
and we did talk a lot about chewing when the kids were little. I was like, okay, digestion begins in your mouth. Like, so there's been like a lot of little things that you can make fitness and nutrition really informative without beating somebody over the head about it. I think you can talk about all kinds of things, which I felt like was how you coached me. We talk about a lot of different things. Well, you got very technical as well, but talking about some of the things that were really big concepts that made sense to me. And then I was able to teach my athletes and teach my kids in ways that weren't like stodgy, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm thankful for you. That's all this to say. I'm thankful for the learning that you taught me during that time. You taught me how to take care of myself. I'm not that fit, but I can make myself a workout. I can get myself into all kinds. We have a garage gym, so I can get myself into all kinds of trouble in there. And it doesn't have to be complicated. I'm do squats 4 times a week, and I know like to move myself and to do all those things. And I think that's the gift of really good coaching, is it just stays with you, so that you can just keep going and you don't feel stuck and you don't feel like you have to always be like, I can't work out because I don't have a program. I can't work out because I don't have a gym. Like, that is freedom.
Yep.
So agency freedom, Vikings, racehorses, all of those things, like, so good. So I'm super grateful. I know you're helping. Everybody in my book who helped me has helped hundreds of other people. Like, they're just that person. It's not like I stumbled across the one person that helped me. It's like they're people who help people. So that is out there in the world as well for everyone you've worked with, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Unless someone's fired you.
I've been fired before,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah. But in hindsight, every time I've been fired, I should never have taken them on as a client, or I should have fired them right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that in like hindsight, I can really say like there's been some people where I'm like, I should not have taken them on at all. Like they didn't need a fitness coach. They needed like a trauma counselor.
Yeah.
They were just using exercise to cope with trauma versus actually working on
Absolutely.
it. And so
To avoid it, using fitness to avoid it.
yeah, and those are the people where like when your self-worth is predicated upon your fitness, you don't need a fitness coach.
Yeah.
You need a therapist.
Yep.
So yeah, every time I've been fired, like as I reflected on it, because it stings, but I reflect on it, I'm like, I should never have let them become my client, or I should have fired them after the first little thing. Yeah. In hindsight. So, but it happens. I mean, it's the nature of the industry.
So the challenge is I'm going to give you one of these, and you only have 3 people that are your friends. So now you got to find 12.
Well,
You got it.
I'm pretty introverted.
You got it. You can read through it and you can see there's some guidelines. They're not rules. It's not like hard and fast, but it's like sometimes I had to send a letter. Sometimes I had to settle for a phone call or a Zoom or something. But some of them were hard to get a hold of. Some of them I hadn't talked to in years. So it was like kind of weird. Hey, like, but I think, I think it might remind you of, where you've been and who's invested into you to become who you are. Because I don't think any of us arrive by ourselves.
No.
We have a collection of people
Yeah.
who just somehow saw us.
Yeah. Takes a tribe.
Cool. Are we done? Oh, he's wiggling something at me.
A battery.
Okay.
It's gonna die.
Okay. Well, there we go.
I dig it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so fun.
Yeah.
Talk forever. So I guess what I would say, had a really great conversation with my coach, Michael Bann, from many years ago. And I think what it kind of boils down to is that over the years, coaching will change. You will change as a coach. You will change as an athlete. It's just the natural progression of that coaching athlete / coaching person relationship. And I think that's really cool. The other thing you said is make sure when you're on long trips to prioritize sleep and hydration. So sleep and water. Pretty awesome. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. So much fun being out here filming it and getting to reconnect. Lots of really cool, smart people in this world. All right.